What is going on, everybody? This is Aaron from 49ers First Takes back with a quick little recap video for this past Sunday's victory over the Arizona Cardinals, 41-22. A little different this week. Instead of going live, I decided to kind of do a shorter, kind of more condensed version of a game recap. Um, yeah, Niners go into Arizona. They get the win. Niners got some winnable games down the stretch. Uh, to get themselves in a position to become a playoff team. Whatever that means, right now, I don't know with the injury situation with this team. But that at least if the 49ers can take care of what they need to take care of with these next upcoming games against opponents that they should beat, they could put themselves in a position to be a playoff team. So yesterday was the return of the one and only Mr. Brock Purdy himself. Ever since he's been out ever since week 4 against the Jacksonville Jaguars when he re-injured his turf toe injury, or they like to call it a turf toe variant. He's been dealing with it, and he's probably going to deal with it the whole season. But he did make his triumphant return yesterday, and he did not disappoint. Brock Purdy went 19 of 26, which is 71% for 200 yards and 3 touchdown passes. Um, 49ers offense was humming yesterday. Again, they scored 41 points, the most they've scored all season. They are as healthy as they could be on offense, which is a great thing. So, of course, you're going to get Brock Purdy has the Avengers. What do they expect him to do? But I thought Brock Purdy, for the most part, played pretty solid. I still think with the injury, he is somewhat compromised. And when I say compromised, I just don't think he looks quite himself still. Whether it's scrambling, whether it's throwing from the pocket. Um, he was shaky after the early part of the game. He made a couple throws that luckily weren't intercepted. One of them down near the goal line in direction of Demarcus Robinson. It was in the double coverage. He was looking to scramble and then decided to pull up at the end. Not exactly sure what he was looking for. There was another scramble play with a touchdown that could have been had to Ricky Pearsall, and he had to scramble to his left and eventually was pulled down for the sack. I just think that he doesn't quite look himself yet, but he's also missed almost 2 months of time, and this was his first game back. And for him to be back after that long with that kind of injury and to go for 71% completion percentage and 3 touchdown passes, 200 yards passing, no interceptions, I thought he did really well for himself, considering. I thought the Niners, for the most part, offensively with pass protection, looked about as good as they have all season, which is saying a lot because they've been pretty porous all year. So Brock Purdy looked solid. He looked efficient. There's a lot of arguments out there, especially from people who are pundits or people who are friends of pundits who want to say, like, whatever we saw yesterday with Brock Purdy, Mac Jones could have done the same thing. A lot of heat online from people that just don't like Purdy, don't think he deserves the money. And so that's kind of the direction of a lot of the conversation was going. But in the end, the Niners get the win. They get to go back home this week and take on the Carolina Panthers. And Brock Purdy, for all intents and purposes, looks like he's back at the helm, ready to take control of this thing at just the right time. Um, Christian McCaffrey, great game yesterday. Christian McCaffrey is looking right now at this point in the season at a 1,000 yard reception and a 1,000 yards rushing season, which is incredibly, incredibly rare. You just don't get that. Um, Things that we haven't seen the likes probably since Marshall Faulk. We all have the history of Roger Craig in the 80s and what he did, catching the ball and running the ball. But Christian McCaffrey is as integral a part of this offense as anybody is on this team. He goes, the offense goes where Christian McCaffrey goes. And the fact that he can catch the ball, run the ball, and do almost anything you ask for him, probably could play slot receiver if you wanted him to. So Christian McCaffrey had another incredible game. He had a touch. I think he had 3 touchdowns yesterday. That's correct. He had one receiving and 2 rushing. Um, Again, he looked the part. He's done whatever it took to keep this offense afloat, whether it's Mac Jones or Brock Purdy at the helm. So, props to him. Just being the workhorse that he is. He's on pace for a whole hell of a lot of touches this year, which is probably not a good thing for his career going forward, but he's been an integral part of this offense. And there's not much you can say about that. Offensively, we can go right into George Kittle. George Kittle, again yesterday, just proved why he is going to be a Hall of Famer with another incredible performance yesterday. George Kittle himself scored 2 receiving touchdowns, including the one that Brock opened up the game with down the right sideline for a touchdown score. Looked like they haven't missed a beat. It's great to have George Kittle back in the lineup for everything he does in the run game and the pass game. He's one of a kind. Kyle said that he's been fortunate and lucky to have someone like that for his whole time here with the 49ers. George Kittle is just an amazing player for how much he loves the game, um, how much he gives to the game mentally, physically, whatever you can say. So George Kittle looked incredible yesterday. I thought he did very well in that game as they needed him to. Niners right now without Brandon Ayuk still look pretty loaded offensively. I thought they played really well yesterday, and they could have played better. They probably could have scored more points. Um, but George Kittle being back, Christian McCaffrey being back, Brock Purdy being back, feels like things are kind of the way they should be, right, guys? Feels like this is the way it's supposed to be. So great to have him back. Great to have CMC back. Brock, welcome back. Thanks for not changing anything and being the usual awesome player that you are. And we're now 7-4 with a chance to be 8-4 with a victory against the Carolina Panthers. Um, One of the things also yesterday from yesterday's game that was apparently uh, obvious from watching the game is just that the 49ers defense, they're just not good. They just don't have the dogs anymore. With all the injuries to the defense, um, and the loss of Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, Michael Williams, they're just not the same unit out there. They only gave up 22 points, but they gave up a history tying 47 completions against them from Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett almost threw for 600, or excuse me, 500 yards and almost had 60 pass attempts. And the 49ers, in those almost 60 pass attempts, registered 0 sacks, which is something I never thought is possible. I think there's a stat out there that says Myles Garrett has more sacks by himself than the 49ers do as a unit or as close to it, which is really, really sad. They did force 3 turnovers yesterday. They did force 3 turnovers. We had a Malik Mustafa interception. We had a Diamador Lenore almost pick 6, uh, which is something we haven't seen in a long time. A defender take a ball back or a score. But yeah, Demo had a pick. Mustafa had a pick. Upton Stout struggled mightily in this game, but he did have a very important punch out, pull out, whatever you want to call, strip fumble of the Cardinals as they were going in to score, and the Niners recovered that one as well. So it is what it is with the defense. This is just the way it's going to be. They don't have anybody coming to help them, and they struggle mightily against anybody that has a formidable offense. So this is going to be up to the defense to figure out a way to, or up to the offense to figure out a way to pull this team into the playoffs on their backs. You know, many years it's been the other way around with having these elite defenses on our team, but unfortunately the 49ers are not, they won't have that this year, and they're going to have to do the best they can with the guys that they have, which isn't much. Um, the struggles of the secondary, I think, go along with the struggles of the pass rush. So it's kind of hard for me to grade or look at those guys and really give a fair assessment of what I think. Um, special teams. special teams actually came through ridiculously awesome yesterday. We had the opening kickoff almost returned by Sky Moore all the way, I think, down to the 2-yard line. And then the 49ers finished it off, of course, with a Christian McCaffrey touchdown. I don't think we've seen that in probably 10 to 12 years since Ted Ginn. The Niners special teams, for the most part, yesterday, as far as coverage, did really well. They definitely have improved under Brent Boyer. They've been pretty bad over the last however many seasons. So they struggled a little bit though yesterday too. I mean, they had a missed extra point by Eddie Pinheiro, and then also a block extra point by Eddie Pinheiro. And but he made all his kicks. He made all his field goals, which is crazy. He has 4 misses on the year on extra points, but he hasn't missed a field goal. So go figure that one out. But yeah, the special teams has been a giant albatross on this team for a while now, and has been a kind of a bone of contention with a lot of fans because special teams is just as important as offense and defense. They're all one big unit, and they played very well yesterday. Injuries coming out of the game. Tatum Bethune looks like he has a high ankle sprain. He's going to miss some time. Kicker Eddie Pinheiro actually has a grade 1 hamstring strain. So the 49ers are going to be bringing in some kickers if he's not able to go this coming week. It doesn't look like it's going to be a long-term thing, but it's a problem nonetheless. He's been nothing short of amazing since he got here. So there's that on the injury front. Brandon Ayuk's window will not be open this week. Uh, People like myself don't think he's coming back this year. It's getting close to nut cutting time. The only thing I could see maybe is coming back after the bye week, which the Niners have at a very, very late point in time. So there's always that. And then the last thing I just really wanted to talk about is just how well the faithful traveled. They took over another stadium yesterday. Um, I was, if you watch some of the post game content, they talked about how the Cardinals needed to use a silent count in their own stadium, which I think is pretty fantastic. How well 49er fans travel, regardless of how the team is doing. So, props to the faithful. Props to um, doing what you got to do to represent, no matter where we live in the country. I'm a New Yorker myself. I live in Bill's country, and yet I represent from where I am. But it's great to see the faithful doing their thing and representing for this team. We appreciate you oh so much. You're a big of a part of this team as the players, because without the fans, they don't get paid. They they don't get to do what they want for a living. So props to the fans. But yeah, my overall from yesterday's game was that the Niners are going to have to depend on their offense from this point forward. They have the ability and they have the bodies to score points if they need to, um, and they're going to need to. But this defense isn't good. They're just they don't have the bodies, and they just don't have the bullets in their gun to kind of really put up or be able to withstand against really good elite offenses. I don't think this team is a Super Bowl team. I think the 49ers will fall short if they do make it to the playoffs. But considering what they've been through this year with injuries and everything considered, I think the 49ers are making the best of a really crappy situation. And they have a possibility of being a playoff team, maybe a 6th or 7th seed. So that's pretty much all you can ask for as a team. That's going to do it for me here on my little post game recap. Hopefully, next week I return and do this live on YouTube. But everybody have a great rest of your evening, whenever or wherever you see this. And I will talk to you guys hopefully this Friday on the Cover 3 podcast. Everybody take care, stay safe and healthy, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.